LeBron James in the past, the individual that we saw was a guy that was great as an individual, elevating the level of leadership in his arsenal. Now it's there, it appears to be. His leadership ability seems to have had a contagious effect on the rest of his teammates, not to mention the fact that in all 4 games, he shot 40% or better from three-point range, including the 2 games, games 2 and 3, in which he shot 66% and 50% respectively from three-point range. That's not something that we're accustomed to seeing from him. So I would say the three-point shooting combined with the contagious effect his leadership has had on the rest of his teammates because of the poise that he's putting on display, Max, that's why I think he's looked better now than I've seen him look.
Nope, he has not looked better now than he's looked in the past. In fact, this is not even the second best LeBron James we've seen, maybe not even the third or the fourth best, and that is why, as Chris Broussard pointed out, in his 14th season, he is playing at a higher level than anyone has ever played in their 14th season. And it's why LeBron James will likely go down as the second greatest player who ever lived. You know, Michael Jordan and then LeBron James, most likely. LeBron plays at such an absurdly high level that when your eyeballs are on him, it's hard to hold in your memory how great he used to look. It's hard to do it because he does the impossible. You think about this for a second. The team, Stephen A., is not only playing a far inferior team in the Raptors just now than they were playing, obviously, in the finals, but it's a Raptors team without Kyle Lowry. They're not even at full strength. And LeBron on his own team not only doesn't have Kyrie and Kevin Love off the floor as he did 2 finals ago, or even last year when he had those guys, but now he has a more mature Kyrie Irving, a more adjusted Kevin Love, and by your own admission recently, a better bench. And he has all that against a lesser team. So I get what you mean about his confidence and all that. He's playing with a lot of poise against a weaker Eastern Conference, but what he just did in the finals in consecutive years against the Warriors, that is the best LeBron of all time. If he does it again this year, I'll say that is, but until that happens, that was not this.
Well, we have philosophical differences here, Max, because when I think about LeBron James 2 years ago, as incredible as it was considering the fact that he carried the Cleveland Cavaliers on his back and he was a lone ranger because both Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving were down. I monitor shooting percentages as well, along with turnovers. I'm talking about the combination of efficiency combined with the contagious effect that it has on the players. They're not sitting around and watching and spectating. They're actually feeding off of you. And when I see LeBron James in this series, it's one thing for him to do what he did as he has done in years past. That's a given. That's consistent. And the numbers to me are relatively ordinary in that regard. So I get your point. My issue is that what I'm seeing is how easy he has made it look thus far. It's almost like, okay, Golden State, even though we're the champions, they're the ones everyone's targeting and aiming for because they acquired Kevin Durant in the offseason. They're the guys, they're the hunted right now. Even as champions, we're not the hunted. They are. What's going to be required in order to knock them off with that 3-headed monster that they have, which doesn't even include Draymond Green, okay? And so you add Draymond Green and the Iguodala and others to the equation, and all of a sudden it changes everything. And now Steve Kerr, your coach, has his back ailment and what have you, having surgery over the last week or so. These are the kind of things that you're still looking at Golden State and saying, they're still number one. So what is it that I have to do? And it seems like whatever it is that's required, LeBron James is doing with relative ease.
When Matthew Dellavedova, who's a tough, scrappy player, I like him, I'd love to have him as a backup point guard on any team I would root for. But when he is the second best player on a finals team, and that team can take a great Golden State, fully loaded Golden State team 6 games. Oh, my God, the best player on that team must be something. Well, that was LeBron James 2 years ago. He got even better last year.
Well, first of all, let's go back let's dissect the last 2 years. Let's just stick to that for right now. Yep. 2 years ago, the Golden State Warriors weren't the champions yet. They were learning how to win. A matter of fact, one of the reasons people like yourself, who was doing afternoon drive radio in the city of Los Angeles, was so disgusted is because you knew that it had yet to be determined whether it was the Clippers' time or whether it was Golden State's time. You were actually looking forward to the Clippers going up against Golden State because Golden State hadn't yet won anything, and so you didn't know whether they were going to be tested, okay? Because they had been bounced out in the first round in 7 games against the Clippers the previous year, and now supposedly supposedly they had arrived, but we wanted to wait and see. And then the Clippers blew that Game 6 against Houston at the Staples Center and then lost Game 7. And so when we look at it from that perspective, we can't ignore the fact that even though LeBron was a one-man bandit, the Golden State Warriors weren't the fully loaded bunch that they were last year because they had not yet learned how to win.
What
we
about
didn't
last
know
year?
what we were getting from them. I'm getting to last year. So when last year comes, you've got Kyrie, you've got Kevin Love, and once again, this is where we part ways. I hold on to this, just like you hold on to your belief about how LeBron was sitting there and sacrificing a game or two here to help Kevin Love. That's right. That's
okay,
exactly
then if
where
you
I'm
say
going.
that, fine.
That's exactly
If you say Draymond
Right.
Green suspension, then I will point out who got him suspended. LeBron James, his mental
fair.
right now,
That's fair.
his
That's fair.
leadership in terms of the way he assesses, analyzes, and then enacts a strategy. He's the one who got Draymond suspended.
Yeah,
I mean,
hold on, wait a
he
minute. Wait.
provoked him.
I got a question. Hold on, pause, because I got a question. LeBron was the one that shoved him to the ground first.
Right.
You remember that.
Sure.
Did Draymond deserve to get suspended off of that?
Yup.
Come on, Max.
Because
Come
Draymond was
on.
on his
Oh,
15,000th
come on.
technical. They told him a million times, if you keep kicking people, eventually we will suspend you. Okay, this is the last time,
Okay.
and he did it again. LeBron knew. LeBron wasn't on his 15,000th technical. He didn't have to worry. He knew Draymond did, and he tested Draymond to see if he could keep his emotions in check, and he couldn't, and the Cavs won the series.
And that's the bad part
good
about
on
the NBA.
LeBron.